All right. We are live, sister. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the Walk and Power podcast, a podcast that has been curated for women in leadership to really support, encourage, uplift, and all the things that us sisters should be doing for each other. That is what we are here for today. And tonight, we are discussing a very important topic, a topic that is very near and dear to both me and my sister guest. Redefining the strong Black woman in the workplace. But before I get started, I just want to say, welcome, sis.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I
So
love
fun.
that we get to collaborate on each other's podcasts and we get to support each other in so many ways. So, I met Regina a couple years ago. And to be honest,
Mhm.
I don't even know if I remember where. At an event, that's for sure. I met her at an event. And then she was talking about her event, which I made sure that I was present at. And you guys will learn more about that event. So that is our gift to you tonight is to be present at an amazing and transformational event coming up this fall. But once I met Regina and started talking, then when I met her mom, it was solid. It was it. Like I was like, oh, mom is where it's at. So if mom is this amazing, I know the daughter got to be amazing too. And sure enough, I was not lying. And since then we have just been growing closer and closer, developing our friendship and always exploring ways to support one another. And that's what I love. Like, sis, I prayed
Mhm.
for friends like you.
Mhm.
When I prayed to be more connected and aligned with people that you know want more for us as Black women,
Yeah.
and that really want sisterhood, because that
Mhm.
can be hard to find at times. So I feel
Yeah.
incredibly blessed to have you in my life.
Well, thank you, and I feel the same way too. Cause like I've always been. I'm an introvert, but I've always been a loner too. And so, I haven't really had like a friend group before, like a real solid friend group before. And so, so yeah, I'm just so lucky to have you as part of this friend group, extended family. So
Absolutely.
I do appreciate you, and I do appreciate you always supporting, and I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Mhm.
Absolutely. Well, I want y'all to know that I'm here munching on my grapes because it's been a long day, y'all. I don't know what's more challenging, sis. Being a single mom during the school year or being a single mom once the school says I'm not watching your kids for a few months and they're yours. I don't know what's more challenging, but my baby boy, he'd be like, I'm gonna take all you got, mom. I'm gonna take all the energy you got. So I'm
Right.
like, you know what? Listen, my Gabe, he is the sweetest kid in the world, but girl, he give his mama the
Mhm.
business. He gives his mama the business. So I was like, let me make sure I have some grapes and some cheese and water. So I'm
Yes.
healing
Good.
while we are doing this show, nurturing my body, nourishing my mind, my body, and soul. I just knew I needed those things. So if y'all see me pop a grape every now and then, don't be judging me, okay? Go
Don't be
get your own
judging.
grapes too. Go get your own grapes. But let me say this though. Something I learned a few years ago is like, especially during the summer months, that if you really want like an icy sweet treat, freeze grapes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, put your grapes
Yeah,
in the freezer and you could pop them and suck on them slowly, and it is so delicious.
it
So
is.
don't say I never gave you nothing. All right. Okay, so first I want to do is formally introduce my sister Regina Renaye. And I'm just going to read her amazing bio so that you all can learn more about her and the amazing work that she's doing. Regina Renaye is an award-winning mental health advocate and the founder of Mindful and Melanated, which I just love the name of her business, Mindful and Melanated.
Mhm.
Uh, a peer led online community for Black women who need a safe space to tackle their unique issues around mental health and wellness. Regina has been battling depression since childhood. Her first suicide attempt was at the age of 12. As an adult, Regina muddled through life wearing a mask to hide what was really going on inside. Publicly, Regina was an overachiever, while privately numbing her pain by self medicating with alcohol. After several depressive episodes and breakthroughs, Regina decided to share her story with the hopes of helping other Black women along their mental wellness journey. Regina is also the creator of the Strong Black Woman Redefined Conference, an annual event which providers, politicians, and persons with lived experience come together to dismantle the cultural construct of the strong Black woman. Regina has been recognized by the Massachusetts Department of Mental Health and state legislature, as well as several community based organizations. So, you heard about my sis. You've heard a lot just in her bio about her story and some of her experiences, which she'll be open to sharing a little more here with you today. But to go even deeper and learn even more about who she is and what she's doing in the community, you must attend the Redefining Strong Black Women Conference, and all of that information will be available for here for you tonight. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just want to get this started. Regina, first of all, I want you to talk about what does it mean? What does it mean to be a strong Black woman in the workplace? Now, we know strong Black women, but tonight we're specifically talking about strong Black women in the workplace. What does that mean to you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so for me personally, being a strong Black woman in the workplace was coming in early, staying late, not taking my lunch breaks, not getting up to pee. Child, I was holding on to my pee. Sometimes I was holding on to my pee like I was collecting insurance. I'm not insurance, interest on it. Like I was earning interest on my damn urine. Holding it for what? Anyway, just doing the most, going above and
Because we
beyond.
got to
And
show them we don't need breaks, right?
exactly. Like I would literally mule for my employers. And and I think one of the reasons why was because in a lot of the spaces that I worked in, it was white spaces. And I no matter how qualified I really was, no matter how credentialed and educated and experienced that I felt like I didn't deserve to be there. So I felt like I had to go above and beyond my white counterparts in order to feel accepted. So that's what that was for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that there are so many women that can relate. I don't know about the holding pee part because I wasn't holding that because when I got to pee, it come like a rocket. I gotta go. But for anyone who is tuned in, if you can relate to some of the things that Regina shared just now, definitely comment. Let us know that you're here. Let us know that you are connecting. Wow, Teresa. Teresa says she can definitely relate to the P. When I think about being a strong Black woman, one thing I definitely heard when you were talking is that imposter syndrome that
Mm,
shows up for us, especially when working in predominantly white spaces, right? Because while we know what we're capable of, we know what our experiences are, we know that we're educated, we are constantly be made to believe that it's not enough. You
right.
could be doing more. You could have done that better.
Mm,
It's and even if you're not looking for praise, leave me alone. Let
mhm,
me do my job, right? Like
mhm,
it's the sly comments, it's
mhm,
the microaggressions, all of
mhm.
the things that we experience. But then what society tells us as Black women of how we're supposed to show up because we're already labeled angry Black women. So when we are receiving these microaggressions, we don't want to say anything because no matter how we say it, we're angry.
Right.
If you say, I really didn't like the way you spoke to me, oh my God, why are you so aggressive?
Calm down.
You calm down. It's okay. Relax. Like what? Oh, I said, right. And the question is, if that same comment came from a white woman, would it have been received as aggressive? So that goes back to that constantly questioning your worth. I have a story. I remember a time I was at a conference,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I don't remember what the conference was, but I went there for my job, and it was predominantly white attendees. And but I conversate with everyone no matter where I am. And one of the ladies asked me what I do, and I told her, and she said, "Oh, well, so what are your future plans?" I said, "Well, one day I want to start a business, doing something to really help others on their journey." She said, "You should really consider going back to school and getting your degree so that you can do that." I said, "I have 3 degrees."
I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh.
No, it's funny
What?
because what made you assume that I don't have a degree, right?
Right.
But if that was a white woman, and here's the crazy part, that has happened to me so many times when a white person has asked me about my dreams and aspiration. Their next thing is always, you should really consider going to college because that sounds like a really great idea. What makes you think I did
Right.
not go to college?
Right.
And so, but then it makes me ask myself, do I sound stupid when I talk? Is my delivery not on point that's making these people assume? So maybe I need to change
Mm-hmm.
myself a little bit. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk more smart, whatever that is, right?
Whatever it is. Right.
Maybe I need to dress different, or that maybe I need to do something different so that they assume something different. And so they were always asking ourselves, am I enough
Right.
for these roles, for these positions, for these spaces? And that's also where we shrink, right? Because we're told you're not enough. So you shrink yourself so that you can
Mm-hmm.
hide in the crowd,
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a crazy
Do-
story. That's that. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but it's like it's funny and it's shocking, but it's not unexpected at the same time, and that's very sad. That's very
I
sad.
think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious that when somebody is talking to you,
Mm-hmm.
one, you see somebody at a conference, professionally dressed,
Mm-hmm.
among the people, the same people you're among. You ask them about their dreams and goals and aspirations. They tell you their vision clearly and plainly, and you automatically assume this girl's uneducated
Mm-hmm.
simply because of the color of my skin.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I have a crazy story too, and it's a little off topic, but not completely off. But I just want to respond to what Erica said in the comments that we can't even show up as our authentic selves. And so there was a job that I had applied for. And girl, you know how we do, how we switch up our hair all the time. One day we want to
Girl,
wear crochet,
don't
next day we
talk
got
about the
dreads, next day we got
hair.
the fro, the wig, all of that. So listen. During the interview process, it was a wig week, right? So I was wearing my straight wig, straight black wig during the interview process. And I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 weeks into the job, I wore my natural hair like this. And so one of the women who was the supervisors who were on the interview panel, she, a white woman, tells another supervisor, a black woman, that, oh my God, did you see Regina today? She came into work and she looks so unprofessional.
Mm,
I would have never, I would have never recommended for her if I would have known she would have came to work looking like that. And
mm.
so the black woman who happened to be my direct supervisor, so she's telling me this after the fact, which was kind of messy, but I'm glad she did tell me, but it was still kind of messy. Um, the black woman was like, well, what do you mean? She looks fine to me. She's wearing like a suit like everybody else. Her hair, she looks so unkempt.
Did
And
she
so the
stick
black
up for you?
absolutely. She
Okay.
was like, so she's unkept because she's wearing the hair that grows out of her head. And she checked her, of course. And she told me about it. And she just told me, like, just be careful of that woman. She's yeah, just be careful of that woman. I didn't last long in that job. Um
And
obviously.
that, and sometimes when we think about the strong black woman in the workplace, we don't think about these things. We don't think about how we're perceived because of how we dress, because of our
Hmm.
natural hair, because of our earrings. Like, I love hoop earrings because I have a big face, so they just really okay. I just feel beautiful with my earrings, but it's considered ghetto. And when you have to start changing what really makes you feel good, changing your hair, changing your style, changing your jewelry just to fit in. These are the things, these are survival methods that
Right.
are recognized as a part of being the strong black woman. Whatever it takes to survive this circumstance and get my paycheck, right? Like we are literally surviving for our livelihood,
Hmm.
right? And understanding that when we talk about the strong black woman, it's not just about coming in late, or I mean coming in early or leaving late, because that's definitely a part of it. It's not just about doing the most, but it's also about feeling like you have to change who you are, that you have to be one person at the workplace and a totally different person outside of the workplace, because you're not professional if you show up as your authentic self
Right.
in the workplace, right? Like, and I just think that so many of us are going through that. But
Hmm.
also, when we think about the strong black woman, we also, especially for women in leadership who may be supervising,
Right.
right? And often dealing with the aggressive behaviors from their subordinates, and what you how you have to show up now. Sometimes that can turn into the people pleasing. Well, I really want them to like me, I really want them to respect me as their supervisor, so what can I do differently? I'll say yes more often, I'll agree
Hmm.
more often, I'll do
Yeah.
more of those things that I think that will make them happy, even though it makes me unhappy, even
Mhm.
though it disrupts my sleep at night. Right? So we have the imposter syndrome, we have the shrinking, we
Yeah.
have the people pleasing, right?
Yeah.
All of those things,
All of that.
right? But also the abandonment of your needs. And that goes back to when you said, I even held my pee,
Mhm.
right? And thinking about what something like holding your pee when you have to go does to your body,
Oh
and
yeah.
the damage,
Mhm.
right? Just to say, I got this. I don't need breaks.
Mhm.
I'm a soldier. I'm a worker bee. I'm a robot. You got something that needs to be done? Give it to me.
Give it to me.
Right?
Girl, I should own stock in the Minute Clinic because as many times as I went up in there for UTIs.
Listen, listen. And that's the thing, right? And you have a UTI because you can't say, I need to go to the bathroom without somebody watching you. Damn, didn't she just get up? Wow, she takes a lot of breaks. Like, wow, is she okay? Don't take. And why are you watching me? Why are you watching me? Right? The
Yeah.
question of, so how long did you take for break today? The question
Mhm.
is my work done?
Right, hello.
Is my work done? Did I
And
complete the
and
task?
is yours done?
Period. Right? Did I complete the tasks that were requested of me? So it's really challenging because also, because we want to prove our worth, because we want to prove that, one, I ain't no punk. I can get through this. I can show them that I'm worthy of this job. We'll stay in places that are causing us harm long past the expiration date. Right? I talk about being at my previous job for 7 years. By the end of it, I was losing my hair.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I was having hives all over my body every single day from the stress that I was experiencing over 7 years. The
Mhm.
same thing every day for 7 years. I should have been gone. But I told myself, nah, I'm not going to let them push me out.
Yo, facts. Yep.
Right?
Yep. That's what we tell ourselves. Yep.
Listen, I'm not going to let them push me out. I'm not going to let them win. Honey, they already winning. You're
Mhm.
sick.
You're sick.
You're sick. You're depressed.
Mhm.
I remember I got so depressed at work. And at this point in my life, I didn't understand depression. But the fact that I couldn't sleep or stay awake, my mouth had canker sores all in it. I mean, I couldn't eat. And I did
Mhm.
not, I just was like, maybe I just need some rest. No, baby, you are depressed. And I literally had to start therapy where he said, you're going through a deep depression.
Mhm.
So it's like, but we want to be strong and prove that if I leave, that means I'm weak. If I
Right.
walk away from this situation, that means I'm weak. And the reality is, walking away means you love yourself. Because staying
Exactly.
in a place where you're not loved, where you're not valued, where you're not appreciated, just to prove yourself,
Mhm.
you're doing more harm to yourself than anything else, right? And
Yeah,
those are the
absolutely.
things that we have to think about when we think about the strong Black woman in the workplace. So I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, or maybe not. But let's talk about what would you say are some of the contributing factors to developing this identity in the workplace? And actually, we did kind of touch on some of it, but what would you say are some of the contributing factors to developing this identity in the workplace?
Yeah, it's definitely the imposter syndrome. Definitely the feeling of inadequacy because of the narratives that we tell ourselves, what society tells us, what the media tells us. Um, it's for at least that's what it was, for me. And like you said, proving some arbitrary point to who, to what, for what, why. It's I feel like we're always in this state of mind, like you said, survival, where we have to prove that we belong here and we are allowed to take up space in this area. And it's bad. Like, and to go back to what you were talking about regarding you being sick and you getting into a deep depression, like like you read in my bio, I've had depression since childhood, and so I know the signs of it. But even still, I would ignore those signs. And I was so depressed at one point at one of these toxic workplaces that a coworker of mine had helped me through a depressive episode. And I didn't know that he suffered from depression as well. I found out because I want to say maybe a few months later, he expired because he committed suicide.
Wow.
And so I was extremely sad, but you wanna know why I was sad, Carmen?
Wow.
I was sad because mine didn't work. That's how depressed I was.
Yeah.
Because of a job.
Yeah. Because of a job. If that's not oppression, oppression at its finest. And I love that you mentioned you have suffered with depression since you were a child. And I imagine how many of us also suffered with depression as a child, but it was just labeled as a disrespectful kid or a kid that doesn't listen because
Lazy. Mhm.
lazy, doesn't want nothing out of life, doesn't want nothing with themselves, um, because they don't have the words to
Right.
express what they're feeling, but also because no one, I don't know if I want to say cares enough, but also no one is aware enough to ask the questions, to ask the right questions, because so many of our parents or moms who have also had to be strong Black women look at us like, girl, you ain't seen life. You ain't been through nothing to be sad or to be depressed. What you crying for? Like if you see a
Right.
child that's just crying and nobody hit that child, that might be a chance to ask some questions. Why is this baby crying? You know, I remember always crying. My auntie still talks about it to this day. Oh, you used to drop them crocodile tears. And I don't say it to her because she doesn't understand. But to this day, my thought is, you never thought to explore why
Mm-hmm.
I was so sad as a child. And
Mm-hmm.
this followed me, right? And so when we think about what women are experiencing today, a lot of the strong black womanitis, right? Um, um, the identity or the symptoms that are showing up today, if you really sit down and maybe do some self reflection, you may see that this has been present in your life all along, right? And it's
Oh,
just showing up
absolutely.
differently. Yeah. And because some of us are not in a space to do that reflection, we're not fully aware of how long I've truly been. We see the challenges at the job and the pressure at the job is only bringing to the surface what we are
Mm-hmm.
already struggling with within. But if we can take a moment to see how long we have really been dealing with this. So when we talk about some of the contributing factors, it could be your upbringing. It could be trauma from your past that already made you feel unworthy, that already made you feel self like that you had to be selfless. You know, I was raised in a household where my yes to others was more important than my yes to myself. Show up for others, give too much, give all you got, right? We talk about, the recipe I shared of my grandmother's recipe, right? The give without boundaries, the
Right.
hide your true feelings and never ask for help. Those things that were ingrained at a very early age contributed to how I showed up as a strong black woman in the workplace. And so when we think about all the contributing factors, I want to encourage those who are listening and watching to think about what are some of the messages you received in
Right.
childhood or even some of the experiences. I told a client the other day that it only takes one person to make you feel unworthy at
Mm-hmm.
any point in your life. It only takes one person. Now, many of us have had multiple, but it only takes one person to tell you you ain't shit, to tell you you ain't worth it, to tell you you're not enough. But it also only takes one person to make you feel like the most valuable person in the world, and that's you.
Right.
Right? It only takes one. We have a few comments, and I just want to check in with some of our people. So we have Erica who said, I have a black coworker who I love dearly. She has literally become family to me. We talk every day, but we never let our coworkers know that we are cool due to them thinking we are clicking up. And that is horrible because
Yes.
here's the part. Erica, we need sisterhood in the workplace, right? Like sometimes I know in my past job, if I did not have my black coworkers, the ones who I got along with, if I did not have them, I don't know how I would have gotten through my workday. And when she got a new job, oh, it was over. To go. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? They're gone now. What am I do here?
Yep.
Right. And so, Erica, thank you for sharing that. What would you like to say about that, sis?
Yeah, I was gonna. I'm in a similar situation too, or was it a similar situation? And like we were like, we'll be in meetings or whatever, and we'll be texting each other like, "Okay, did you hear it? Because I'm not tripping." No, girl, you ain't tripping. Okay, good. Because the colonizers like to gaslight you now. So you have to have that support system because
You
if you
need
don't
it.
have someone that's there who is a witness to it, that you could bounce like questions off of,
Right.
because you would
You
literally
would
feel like you're being gaslit at work.
absolutely. And you would definitely feel like it must be me.
Right.
I love that you
Mhm.
said that because I remember being in meetings with my coworkers and they would be texting me and right after the meeting they would call me like, "Are you okay?" Because that was wild. I'm
Yo.
like, okay, I'm happy. I didn't have to say nothing. Y'all saw that craziness. You know what I'm saying? So thank you, Erica, for your comment. Like we need we need allies. We need sisterhood, or even brotherhood. Like we need someone who we can just say, together we can get through this. Together
Mhm.
we can get through this day. Let's see what Monique said. Hey Monique girl, thank you for tuning in. Thank you all of you ladies for tuning in. So Monique says also so many of us have high girl talk about it. High functioning depression. I experienced during the pandemic, working, but miserable. Listen, talk about that
Yep.
high functioning depression, sis.
You know what? And first of all, I don't like that term, but it's just the easiest way to say that we are getting through, we're making a way out of no way. And I hate the fact that a lot of us have high functioning depression because the way we present ourselves when we actually bite the bullet and ask for help, girl, you got this.
Girl,
You got this. Girl, you're the strongest girl, you're the strongest woman I
you're the
know.
strongest woman I know. Don't say that, sis. You know what? Thank you for saying I'm the strongest woman you know, because it took a lot of courage for me to ask for help. So you gonna help me?
Oh nah.
You feel me? Because the strength is in being able. Well, but you know what? Let me not go too deep.
Right.
But that's the fact, right? Thank you so
Yep.
much, Monique. Because at the end of the day, so many women are showing up in the workplace daily depressed, overwhelmed, frustrated, exhausted,
Exhausted.
dealing with pain in their body. Like sometimes we're like, oh my God, I'm so achy, my muscles. You don't realize that that pain is from the stress. I used to sit down for work. I didn't have a walking job or a standing job. And every day at the end of the day, my feet were on fire
Mhm.
because I carry a lot of stress in my feet. And that's how I know it's like I got my feet are hurting me so bad. And it's not even like I'm walking. It's not even
Right.
like I'm standing. So that also goes back to listening to your body. Your body is trying to tell you that I'm shutting down. I can't, I'm not functioning well, and I need you to stop. Right? We will rely on that high functioning depression because it's,
Yeah.
you know what, I can get it done, I can push through this. But the more you push, the more you're hurting yourself and you're hurting your body, right? That needs rest
Exactly.
or
I
needs
have
to
a
get the hell up out of there.
exactly. I have a story about that too. I had started a new job and it was a really good job. And of course, I'm trying to prove myself. This arbitrary point that I'm trying to prove, right? And I want to say maybe like a month. It was less than a month, maybe about a month into the job. Um, I started noticing that I was getting shortness of breath. Now I'm
Mm,
a heavy chick, you know what I mean? So if I walk too far, too fast, a chick get out of breath. Yeah, I mean, it happens. But in this particular instance, like it was just literally me standing up and
mm,
like I felt like I just ran a marathon. And I'm like, what is and like I had this heavy, heavy pressure on my chest. And I'm thinking, okay, Regina, it's time to lose weight. Anyway, so I'm pushing through, pushing through, pushing through. And one day I was like, you know what? Go to the ER because I literally felt like I could not breathe.
mm.
Long story short, I get to the ER, and they did some tests. Girl, why I have multiple blood clots in both sides in both of my lungs.
Mm.
And I'm getting up and I didn't want to take time off because I just started this job. I have to prove myself. You know what I did, Carmen? Why I brought my laptop with me and freaking was working in the hospital.
Because we know that our needs will not be honored. We know that if we say, hey, I need to take some time off, I know I just started, but you know what, maybe this is not the good fit for you.
Mhm.
Maybe
Mhm.
this is not the right job for you.
Mhm.
And when you're thinking about paying your bills, keeping a roof over your head, keeping food on your table, you're willing to risk your life. And you don't hear
Literally.
that often in the white community because it will be take all the time you need.
Mhm,
Take care of yourself. Let
mhm.
us know if there's anything we can do for you, right? But for us as Black women, we know that sharing our needs or asking for time to take care of ourselves will not be received well. I
Right.
knew, and since I remember, like when you share that story, I remember being sick with the flu, but saying I can't take time off, and I was
Mhm.
at work sweating with fever, and I was in a meeting, nose running, and I kept saying, "No, Carmen, you can get through this." And we're meeting with a partner that we want to bring on, and I'm so sick that I'm falling asleep like this,
Hmm.
looking hard, and I just could. My body was like, "Please lay down." And when it was done, my supervisor was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I'm just not feeling well." And he was like, "Maybe you should go home." I was like, "No, I'm just gonna finish up the day. I'll finish up the day, and if I'm not feeling well tomorrow, I'll let you know." And of course, I still came in for the rest of it. But when I look back at
Mhm.
all the sacrifices I made to please a job that would replace me in a heartbeat,
Heartbeat.
I
Now
have to
was
apologize to myself.
Oh, absolutely. And was that loyalty reciprocated?
Absolutely not. Never. Never. I remember when I was getting to that place of being so depressed, and they knew that I had my business and they knew all my dreams and
Mhm.
visions. And I said to my supervisor, right now I'm just trying to figure out how to get things done between, making sure Gabriel is well and really trying to grow a business that I love and make sure I show up here. And he said to me, you should consider letting go of everything you're doing outside of work so that you can focus more of your time and energy here.
Okay, so
And
you had to
that's
let go
when
of your family, sir?
let go of everything you're doing outside of it. Gabe is getting older now and he can take care of himself. Mind you, he's married, he lives in the suburbs with his kids. And I said to him, I hear what you're saying, but what you don't understand is where I live, there is shootings. And I worry about my son, and I need to be more present in his life. And I'm trying to figure out how I can be more present for my son and show up for my job and do the things that I love and take care of myself. And when he told me you should probably let go of all those other things, that's when I knew it was time for me to go. Because I believe as a leader, the job, the only thing you should be saying is, how can I support you?
Exactly.
What
Exactly.
can I do to help you be able to achieve those goals? And so for us to remember is that they could care less about what you have going on in your life, right? Most employers, because I'm the type of employer, I value my whole employee,
Mhm,
right?
right.
Not just the person you are at work. I value all of you, right? But most organizations could care less about your parenting, if you have a family, could care less about if you have big goals and dreams and visions for yourself outside. They could care less
Yeah,
as
okay.
long as you're showing up here and getting the job done. And that's a hard employer to work for,
It is very
right?
hard.
And I think as we move forward in life and getting jobs and assessing who we are and where we want to be in the vision we have for our life, is really being okay with saying no to something or someone that doesn't align with your vision. If you're job hunting, asking what is the flexibility for me to
Right.
be able to take care of myself and achieve my life goals? What is the flexibility for work life integration? What does that look like here? What is the culture for family here? And if it doesn't align, you have to trust and believe that what you truly want will be yours. But every time and I had to learn this the hard way, holding on to something that doesn't belong to you will block the things that want to come into your life.
Oh, yeah.
And those are the things that strong black women as holding on to that identity of a strong black woman will block the joy and the peace, right? And the comfort that you truly want and desire, because you are leading with fear. You are making this fear-based decisions. Every decision you base, it comes, well, if I do this, then this might happen. Well, okay, maybe I'll do, right? And so when you are only making decisions based from fear, every response will feel fearful.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to be open and willing to release that. So Rich, it's 8:41. I'm move us along because we be having too much fun on here. But one thing we've already talked about is um, the physical and emotional and mental health impact of embodying this strong black woman identity in the workplace. We talked about the hair loss. You talked about the UTI and the blood clots. Eh, and the thing is we'll never say most women it's because of my job, right? It'll be mostly,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I got this thing going on now, and I got this thing going on now, and we're not really thinking about the common denominator. Did you have all these things going on before you got into work? And if you did, chances are you left one stressful job and jumped right into another one.
Exactly.
Right,
Exactly.
sis?
Absolutely.
So
I know
that's the
for I'm
physical.
sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. No, I
No,
was
go
just
ahead.
gonna say, just to go back to your point about when you're interviewing, asking like what the workplace culture is around work-life balance. Like the job that I have now is literally $20,000 less. The salary is $20,000 less than my last job. But because it's fully remote and I have the flexibility to do like my medical appointments and stuff like that, that's the trade-off.
Yes. And it's worth
You
it.
know, it's worth it.
It's
Oh,
worth
definitely.
it. It's worth it, right? And so,
Definitely.
those are the things, like Regina is saying, is really think about. Sometimes you have to make a sacrifice in order to win. And if that sacrifice is, you know what, I may not get paid as much, but health is wealth. Health is wealth, right? And so when you are feeling better in your body and you have more time and more energy to take care of yourself, that will improve your ability to make money, even more money down the line. But if you're killing yourself for money, you can't even enjoy that money because most of that money is going towards your medication and your doctor bills. And you know what I'm saying? All of those things. So these are the things that we really have to think about. At what cost do
Mm-hmm.
I stay in a position that is literally killing me? We think about the emotional health. We think, let me see. Erica said, Erica said here, she had an employee tell her to bring her sick child to the office. Yes, yes, right. Like, that's how you know they do not care, sis.
Yeah.
They do
That was
not
actually
care.
that was
You
Teresa
know?
that said that. That was my mom, and I hope that
Oh,
wasn't me
that
that
was
did it.
Teresa.
I
That
hope
was
they didn't tell
Teresa.
you to bring me to work when I was sick.
They said, bring her sick ass in here with you. Right. Then we have Erica who said, I'm tired of being strong. Get somebody to do it expeditiously. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing is, you can't be afraid to say, nah, I can't do that. As I started coming into loving myself more in my job, I was like, nah, I ain't doing that.
Mhm.
Well, who's gonna do it? I don't know. But it's not gonna be me, right? and,
Figure it
and
out.
being okay with pushing back, being okay
Mhm.
with valuing and respecting your yes to yourself.
Mhm.
Setting boundaries is saying yes to your health and well-being. Setting boundaries is saying yes to your self-love, to your self-care. Setting boundaries and pushing back on anything that does not align with who you choose to be as a leader, with who you choose to be as a woman,
Yep.
point blank, period, is saying yes to yourself. And from that place is where your confidence and self-esteem and self-love continues to flourish, right? Daphne said, I've canceled vacation and days off. No
Oh,
more. Yes, sis, no
oh my
more. It
god.
stops here. It stops here. Yes, and peace of mind. Absolutely, Erica. Like nothing is worth your peace of mind. Nothing is worth your physical health. Listen,
Mhm.
without we all know, without this, listen, over the weekend, I was down with food poisoning. Sorry, Thumb, get out of here. I was down with food poisoning. And I said to my boyfriend, who was also down with food poisoning, sometimes you forget how much you need and value this body, how much our body does for us on a daily basis. And we don't
Mhm.
have to wait until we're sick to begin valuing and loving our bodies and treating our bodies with love and kindness and respect from the inside out. And
Yep.
that starts with saying no to things that don't feel good to you, especially at work. Now, here's the other thing to keep in mind when you think about why these jobs, especially these toxic work environments, can have such a detriment on your life. You spend more time at work than you do at home, than
Mhm.
you do with your family. So remember, you're spending so much of your time in a place that is toxic, that does not contribute or value your health and well being. You're bound to get sick. But guess what? It also shows up in other areas of your life. What you're experiencing at work, now you're bringing it home with you, right? Now you get home. When I was at work, one thing that I struggled with, by the time I got home, I was too tired to sit with my son. I was too tired to say, I'm going to watch some TV with my son. I'm like, I couldn't even check the brother's homework. I was so tired,
Mm.
right? That's not parenting. That's not parenting. By the time I got home from work, it was almost time for him to go to bed. So I had to
Yeah.
feed him quick and get, like, I felt horrible. I could not even connect with my son because I was giving so much time to a place that didn't give a damn about him, right? And so these are the things to keep in mind. So, what we want to segue into is steps that you can take to reclaim, to rewrite
Mhm.
your narrative. I'm not even going to say to reclaim, to rewrite your narrative, because for a lot of us, we don't even know what our original narrative is, right? Because for many of us, our narrative was written for us at birth.
Oh
At
yeah.
birth, the parents told you who you are and who you're going to be and what you're going to be when you grow up and how you should look and behave as a lady and so on and so forth. So, therefore, the narrative began being written for you, often for many of us at birth. So, this is an opportunity to write your own narrative, right?
Mhm.
But also to reclaim your power, to show up as the woman you want to be in the workplace and every other area of your life. So, Sister Regina is going to share with us her framework called Fight, a 5-step process that you can implement to begin doing exactly what I said, writing your narrative and reclaiming your power. Take it away, sis.
All right, let me take it from you now. So my fight for your life formula starts with F, forgive. Forgive, but don't forget. Forgive others for how they've mistreated you, but never forget how they mistreated you. Because you want to release that bitterness, for lack of a better word, from your body. You don't want to walk around with that negative energy. So go ahead and forgive, but never forget. Just never forget. Ignite. Ignite your passion and do things that bring you joy. Now, I know for some of us, it may be easier said than done because we may be at a job that we feel like we have to be at the moment. We can't really transition into starting that business or to getting a new job, but just maybe finding things like hobbies that you can do outside of work, um, that you can do that will fill your cup, right? Anything that makes you glow and smile and laugh and feel joy, just ignite that passion inside of you. um and then give yourself credit and give yourself grace. just like the forgive others portion, you want to forgive yourself for not having those boundaries. You want to forgive yourself, Daphne, for canceling those vacation days. You know what I mean? And then and give yourself credit. I think is very important. And it took me a very long time to do this. And you know how in the beginning of your work day, you go through, you check your emails and you write your things to do list. At the end of my day, I write a things I did list. And it's a worksheet that I created. And if you want to join my Patreon, you will have access to that worksheet. So the worksheet has the things that you did. It's 3 columns, right? Things that you did. And then there's a checkbox. Did you do it for yourself or did you do it for someone else? And I bet 9 times out of 10, that column that's for someone else is going to be check, 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 check. So just evaluate how much you are doing for yourself and just pat yourself on the back for doing it, and evaluate how much you're doing for others and say, hey, do I need to establish some boundaries right now? H is have a plan. Have a plan, whether it's an exit strategy from your job, whether it's a crisis or a safety plan. If you're starting to feel anxious, what are some things that you can put in your toolbox to ground you? Is it aromatherapy? Is it a grounding technique like a mindfulness activity? Have a plan. When I want to talk to a supervisor or a boss about something that may be a difficult topic or a difficult conversation where I feel like I've been mistreated and they need to be put on notice, I'll have my plan is like I'll write out the email and I'll have a girlfriend read it, be like, okay, does this sound to me like, am I getting my point across without sounding like a bitch? Right. So have a plan. Even something as simple as having an am I tripping conversation is the plan. And then lastly is take time to be by yourself. Not with your man, not with your friends, not with your kids. Sorry, Gabe. By yourself. Self-reflection is key. And that was really, really key for me for when I was starting to rewrite my personal narrative, my story. Because I sat down and I said to myself, I said, Regina, you are not living authentically. You are not living the life that Regina Renaye wants to live. You're living the life that you think you were supposed to be living. You think you're supposed to be climbing this corporate ladder. Do you really want to be in that C-suite? Or do you want to say you make $100K a year? Right. Take time for yourself, self-reflect, date yourself. I like going on dates by myself. I will take myself out to eat in a heartbeat. It's because I'm greedy, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying, right? Just go be by yourself. So that's my formula, the fight for your life formula. Forgive, ignite, give, have a plan, and take time to be by yourself. And I'll hand
Yes.
you back the mic, sis.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is beautiful, and the last part, the take time to be by yourself, I think is so important because like you said, so many of us are living the lives that we were told we're supposed to live, as opposed to the life that our true authentic selves desire to live at our core. Taking time to be with yourself is a way to really get to know who you are. People always tell you, you should definitely start your self love journey, start loving yourself. Nobody knows what the hell that means if
Mm-hmm.
you have not experienced self love. Nobody knows what it means to start a self love journey. So I encourage you to start a self discovery journey. Start to
Mm-hmm.
learn more about yourself. Start to understand yourself. Start to understand your thoughts, why you feel the way you feel, why you think the way you do. Like I said earlier, that self reflection to understand how long have I really been experiencing this. It's because that'll also help you know, am I even working in the right field? I've been working in this field for so long simply because I have the experience in this field. But am I really happy doing
Mm-hmm.
this? And that's what I had to come to terms with. Because I was working in human service for so long and I have so much experience in leadership in human service, I felt like that's where I was supposed to be. At the end of the day, I'm always serving humans, but I can serve humans in a different capacity. And I realized this is not the capacity I want to serve in nor is it the capacity that my purpose is to serve it. And
Mhm.
that took me diving into that self discovery. Through self discovery is where you're able to foster self love. Because what I'll tell you, and I've said it time and time again on this podcast, it's hard to love someone you don't know. If you've
Girl.
ever gone on a date with someone you just met, you're not going to say, I love you. You don't know him. You do not know that person how you love them. So it's hard to say, oh, I love myself when you don't even truly know who you
Mhm.
are, sis. Right. And so taking that time to be alone, listen, my solo dates is what really helped me to develop myself. I was single for 4 years and decided that I'm going to date myself during this period. I will call the restaurant, say it's a special occasion. They would have roses and candles on that table ready when I get there. I would dress up like I was meeting the love of my life. You know why? Because I am the love of my life. Right. And
Mhm.
I would do that once a month. Just
Wow.
go big. But and I'm not saying
Mhm.
that's what you have to do, but find things that allow you to just sit with yourself
Mhm.
and learn what you truly need, what you truly desire in order to feel more fulfilled in your life. I want to thank you all. And now I just want Regina to talk about the conference. Everything we talked about here is going to be times 100 at the conference. Okay.
Mhm.
So, if you have not heard about the conference, it's also been being dropped in the comments. So make sure you're looking in the comments because you know we got mommy on deck. I know you over there, ma. What's up, ma? That's my girl. So I know I got ma on deck dropping the links, dropping everything. The information is also right here on the screen. But sis, go on to share a little about the conference, what they need to know before we wrap up.
Yeah, so the conference is called the Strong Black Woman Redefined Conference, and it is just what it sounds like it is. The purpose of the conference is for all of us to come together and redefine what it means to be strong, not being everything to everyone all the time, setting boundaries, enforcing those boundaries. So we have providers, therapists that come in. We have politicians, the people who making the policies around mental health, and also persons with lived experience like myself coming together, sharing stories, and coming up with solutions on how to be authentically true to ourselves and being strong, but in a different, not in the traditional sense of the strong black woman trope that has been ingrained in us for so many years. So it's a full day conference. We have two general sessions. The first session is like, the opening, the welcoming remarks with the keynote speaker who was gonna be and then we also have breakout sessions where we have different Black women from all across the country that's going to help us out. So we have a woman who is from North Carolina. She's going to show us how to come up with our self-care practices based off of our astrology, our zodiac sign. We have women who are going to come teach us about stress reduction and mindfulness, breathing techniques. We have a woman who was going to come out. She's from Springfield, Mass. She's going to show us how to use dance, get some movement going on. So it's going to be amazing. We also going to have some vendors, all Black women owned businesses, anything from jewelry to body butters to waist beads to cake. I hope the cake lady comes back because that peach cobbler cake was fire. Anyway, like,
Ooh.
so please, check out the website, get your tickets. Like I said, it's all day. You get all the general sessions, the breakout sessions, breakfast and lunch. It's just gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. You guys heard it here. Listen, do not sleep. Get your tickets. Tell your friends, grab your ladies, make it a date with you and all your girlfriends. This is definitely a conference you don't want to miss. I look forward to being present. I look forward to seeing all of you and loving on all of you because I be loving on my lady. Regina be like, leave me alone.
Like, get off me, Carmen.
I love my ladies. I just want to say thank you. Thank you, sis.
Thank you.
for joining me this evening. I tell you, before I got on here, I was so tired. But being on here and munching on my grapes and cheese and drinking my water helped me tremendously. This conversation also just gave me so much energy. You know, every time we get to have these conversations, it's a reminder of why we do what we do, but it's also a reminder that we're still healing, right? That we're
Mhm.
still healing, that we're still learning about who we are and what we want, but because it's a journey, there's no final destination to this journey. It's something that as we continue to grow and evolve and to meet other people who share about their stories, that we can just continue to grow into that girl, into her, right? That version of us that we dream about, that we envision in our minds, that we feel in our souls. And so I just want to encourage you to keep learning yourself, to keep
Mhm.
exploring yourself. You are allowed to change your mind and love something new and want something more and want something better for yourself every single day. You have that right. Queens, thank you. I love you. I love you, my sister Regina. I love all of you for tuning in, for being here with me every Wednesday, like really like showing up for your sister because we have fun here, and just all of the comments that just really remind us that we have something to say. We are taking up space, and there are people who need to hear it. So, thank you
Yep.
for supporting this show. Thank you for supporting me and Regina. And until next time, Queens, walk in power. Mwah.